One of the most humbling realities of Great Commission work and Great Commission vision is understanding and acknowledging that only in heaven will we get to see a lot of what God has done, probably most of what God has done. And furthermore, only in heaven will we be able to connect a lot of the dots. This sharing of the gospel led to this individual becoming a Christian. This led to the planting of that church, which led to a network of churches. But every once in a while, we get one of those perspectives that just gives us a glimpse of what we hadn't seen but was there all along, what God was doing from generation to generation.
One of these glimpses of God's sovereign work can be seen in the life and ministry of Adolphe John Terry. As a young man growing up in the late 1800s in Louisiana, the Lord placed in John a burden for missions. This burden would lead him to attend the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, graduating as a full graduate in 1912. That same year, he departed with his new wife for the mission field, with a deep burden for the people of Brazil.
They went to Brazil. About that time, they were also expecting their first child. They eventually traveled at tremendous difficulty on horseback and on foot, and they eventually were in a city named Corrente. And it was there that they moved to establish a church and to begin to preach the gospel, and began also to educate Christians in the faith once for all delivered to the saints.
It was in Corrente that John would meet a country doctor and civic leader named Dr. Joaquim Paranagua. As a young man, Joaquim unexpectedly received a box of Bibles that would lead to the conversion of his twin brother and ultimately to his own conversion as well. John Terry discipled Joaquim, and together they served the local church and established a Christian school with a shared vision to reach Brazil through Christian education. Throughout the years, the school has grown to become a major institution in the region. Today, as a result of their zeal for Christian education, the school has served to share the gospel with tens of thousands of children and adults throughout the region. For Joaquim, the truth of Scripture was a precious gift, and the gift was passed down to his children and later to his own granddaughter, Guiomar. Today, Guiomar continues to worship in the same church Joaquim and John worked to establish. As she worships alongside her daughter, Elaine, she is reminded of the man that invested in her family many generations ago.
Significa muita coisa, porque vinha missionário para essa terra e aqui ele semeou a palavra, porque a palavra de Deus é lâmpada para os nossos pés e luz para os nossos caminhos. E nós somos gratos.
E acho que o Adolfo John Terry plantou uma semente importante. Foi plantada aqui em Corrente, a gente foi regada. É como eu falo assim, a palavra de Deus não vai voltar vazia. Nunca volta vazia.
John Terry left a legacy that has profoundly impacted an entire community for the gospel. For the Paranagua family, in particular, it is a legacy of faith that has been passed down from one generation to the next. And today, I'm here as a result of that legacy. My name is Rafael Belo, and I am the great-great-grandson of Joaquim Paranagua. So just like my great-grandfather, God has given me a passion for Christian education. In His sovereignty, He has created an incredible opportunity for the Church of Brazil to receive rich theological training. The church in Brazil is established. There is freedom to proclaim truth, but they need sound theology. As I consider all that God has done in my life to bring me to this place, to Southern, and how this place has prepared me for ministry and what is to come, I am extremely humbled to realize that my story was written long ago, before I even realized. And it's a story that is bigger than my own ministry or even John Terry's ministry. It's the story of God advancing His kingdom through the unseen, faithful obedience of those whom He has called.
I think back to 1911. E.Y. Mullins was the president of this school. He's the one who handed Adolph John Terry that diploma. He never got to see what the Lord did through Terry's ministry. He never got to see what I now get to see. I will have the privilege of putting a PhD diploma in the hand of the great-grandson of the very man that Adolph John Terry discipled in the interior of Brazil. I'm thankful I get to see that. But it just reminds me, I don't get to see but the tip of an iceberg of what God is doing through those graduates. But it's really important from time to time to see these visible evidences so we know why we do, why we teach what we teach, why we are so excited to see committed young people come and gain theological education and then go to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. That's why we exist. That's why Southern Baptists brought into existence the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in 1859. Think of all those students throughout all those generations. I just look forward in ages to come to seeing what the Lord is doing, has done, and will do through the graduates of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary.